Hello everyone, welcome in. So today I wanted to quickly talk about a specific trend that I'm seeing across women who step into senior leadership, and that's the process of minimizing or hiding your brilliance to accommodate others. Now, what tends to happen is oftentimes women in the corporate world may have received feedback that they're too much, that they're overdoing it. And what starts to happen is when you receive that feedback, the brain goes into trying to overcompensate. And so you could get yourself in situations where rather than holding your position, providing your input, you start to soften. You start to use minimizing words like just, well, I'm not sure. Well, I'm just putting disclaimers. Well, I'm not really sure, but what do you think? And what happens is when you step into a senior leadership role, that communicates to other people that number one, you're minimizing your credibility. Number two, you're communicating to them that you lack confidence. And what that leads to is a lack of respect. And then you start to see people take you less seriously. And you may then get feedback that you're not doing enough. And so you find yourself in this double bind where you were direct, you were clear, you were assertive, you were tagged as too much. Then you started to overcompensate, and now you're being tagged as not enough, not assertive enough. So if that's you, one of the things, and I got this advice from the psychologist Alison Fergal, one of the things that she says is it's not about minimizing or overcompensating, but add, don't subtract. So what does that mean? That means that if you got feedback that you're too much, you're too assertive, or you're too aggressive, don't tone down completely the signals that people were reading as too assertive. Rather, tone up signals that people can read as warm and approachable and friendly. You can be direct, you can be straight to the point, you can be clear. However, when you get into situations where you're projecting and you're that leader, keep that and add warmth. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're giving feedback to your direct reports, or you're giving feedback to your peers or something like that. Be clear, be direct, but at the same time, the tone that you're doing it matters. So your tone should be calm, where the person you're talking to understands that you're not trying to attack them. You're not trying to pull them down. But stay clear, stay assertive, soften your tone, and if appropriate, you can smile depending on what the context is. If you're giving feedback, obviously, then that may be interpreted as you're not being serious. But depending on the context, add signals. So smile, soften your tone, remaining calm, but do not tone down directness or being clear, because it's important as a leader when you have a vision that you want to execute and you're leading people. They need to understand that you stand for something, but at the same time you're not this cold, distant, unapproachable, mean, aggressive person. Okay? So just to kind of recap here this is going to be a short video. If you're struggling if you've been giving feedback of being too much or too aggressive or too assertive, the answer is not minimizing the signals that are causing people to view you like that. The answer is adding signals that communicate warmth, that communicate safety, that communicate security, such that when the person is in your presence, they don't feel like they're being attacked. And the way you do that is, the tone of your voice, the energy that you're coming from, remaining calm, keeping the person clear, being direct, but at the same time letting them know that, hey, this is a safe space, regardless of the conversation that we're having. And if you are struggling with your executive presence and you've gotten feedback on being too direct or being too aggressive, stay tuned. I'm building a tool that can help diagnose where within your signaling, where it's going wrong. And that will help you on what you can adjust to be able to move forward. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video.